Alrighty guys, angle relationships, this is on page 62. Go ahead and take a second, read through it, underline what you think is important, and then come back to us. Okay, here we go. So angle relationships. So far we have learned about acute angles. Acute angles are less than 90 degrees. Right angles are exactly 90 degrees. Obtuse angles are between 90 and 180, so between a right angle and a straight angle. And then straight angles are exactly 180 degrees. Okay, so we're going to add to your toolbox of angles. The first part we're going to review the way we name our angles. There are multiple ways we can name our angles. Okay, so the most common is to identify it with 3 letters. So if I look at this, I can't just say angle B because angle B could be this one or it could be this one. We don't know. But the way that I draw the angle, that is pretty much how we name the angle. So this one could be angle ABC. This one could also be going backwards. So going backwards, I could go CBA, angle CBA. If there was no other angle attached to it, you could say that it's angle B. And then if there's a number on the inside, you can also say that that's that numbered angle. Okay. This one right here, CBD or DBC. Those are your 2 options for this angle. If you say angle B, it will be confusing for this one. Okay. And so we remember vertex. Okay. And then the thing that comes out of it, one direction is a ray. That's the vertex. Okay. So that's just a little bit of review. Here we go. 2 new points that we're looking at. We have complementary angles. We have supplementary angles. So complementary angles are 2 angles that add up to 90 degrees. Let's write this in our notes. Complementary. Complementary. Complementary is 2 angles that add up to 90 degrees. My 9th grade geometry teacher said that I have my 2 angles here. This is how she helped us remember, right? And she said that this was a student and he had a box-shaped head. And this was our complementary student. So since he was embarrassed of his square-shaped head, he used to give compliments to everybody. There's my geometry teacher for you. Okay, the next part makes a little bit more sense with the way you remember it. But, I mean, I've remembered it since 9th grade. That was a long time ago. Okay, supplementary. Supplementary. These are 2 angles, right? So this is the angle symbol that add up to 180 degrees. Right. The way that my geometry teacher in 9th grade, Miss Fletcher, taught us this was here's my straight angle, right? 180 degrees. I've got 2 angles that form that. And she says, when you have supplementary angles, then you eat supper on a dinner table. And so here is your table. And this is going to be you eating it. And this is going to be your friend eating. Your friend's name is Timmy. Right? And so basically you eat supper on a dinner table. Dinner table is flat. Dinner table is flat. And that is your 180 degree angle, right? So little things that you can use to try and help you remember these things, whether they make sense or not, that's up to you. But if it helps you remember, why not? Okay. So complementary angles, 2 angles that add up to 90 degrees. Remember, if you know one, then you should know the other one, right? Because they add up to 90 degrees. We'll have to solve them later. Supplementary angles, the 2 angles add up to 180 degrees, right? So if I give you the angle of the smaller one, if this is like 20 degrees, then I know the rest of this has to form 180 together. So this one's going to be 160 degrees. Does that make sense? Let's do some practice problems for complementary and supplementary angles, and then we'll move on. Okay, last part. adjacent angles and vertical angles. So adjacent angles, adjacent is going to be next door, right? So when you have your next door neighbors, we're talking about you share a side, right? But you don't overlap. It's not like your house goes into theirs. So if I look at this one, common vertex, common side. So if I choose, this is my vertex and this is my side, which ones are touching it? Which ones are next door neighbors? C and D. Angle C and D are those next door neighbors. Here, if I choose this ray and this vertex, D and G are next to each other. So all of these, the ones that are next to each other, F and G are next to each other. F and C are next to each other. Those are all adjacent angles. They are next to each other. Okay? Vertical. Vertical is across or opposite. Right? So I think of this as looking in a mirror. Right? So if I look at this one right here, which ones are looking at each other? They are across from each other. D and F are across from each other. C and G are across from each other. What's cool about these vertical angles is that when you are across from each other, you're looking at each other, like looking in a mirror. And basically what that means, if you're looking at the mirror, it's the same thing on the other side, just like your reflection. For vertical angles, these ones are exactly the same too. The measurements are the same, which means if this is 80 degrees, that means this one is 80 degrees, right? It's just mirroring against each other. So whatever one is, the one on the opposite side, that one is too. Just make sure that they are vertical angles. Okay, I had a Kahoot for you guys. Let's see if I can make this for distance learning. And you guys got this. Almost done, okay? We deal with what we have to. Okay, see you guys soon.